Okay, so tonight for dinner we're going to be having chicken Alfredo soup. So the recipe that I'm using as a reference will be linked down below for you, but I'm doing things a little bit differently. So I've got 2 larger chicken breasts here. The recipe calls for 3, so I'm just going to put this in the bottom of the crock pot. Okay, and then it says to season liberally with salt and pepper. I'm just gonna measure with my heart. I don't want to put too much salt because the chicken broth has quite a bit of salt in it, so I'm just a little bit. And then I have 2 cups of chicken broth here. I just used the Knorr powder and I just made my own. I love using the powder because I feel like it's a lot more cost effective that way. So there's that. And then it says to add 1 cup of heavy cream, but I only had half and half. So that is what we are going to do. Okay, and then we're gonna cook this on low until the chicken is cooked through, probably about 4 or 5 hours. Okay, so now that everything is done, this is about 5 hours later. I am just removing the chicken from the crock pot and adding it to a bowl. I am going to use my hand mixer to shred this time because I did want it in smaller chunks. And then I'm going to add a bag of Parmesan cheese and my bag of ravioli. I actually decided to get the fresh ravioli from the deli this time. So like I said, I got this from the deli. That's where you can find it at Walmart. It's just the spinach and ricotta ravioli. And this was really, really good. It only took about 30 minutes to cook in the crock pot. It's fresh ravioli, so it's not going to cook as long as like frozen ravioli. So just keep that in mind. So after that, I just dumped the chicken on top and cooked it for about 30 more minutes. Here's what it looked like when it was all done. We just served this with a French baguette. So next we are making mashed potatoes and gravy for our meatballs. So I'm just starting out by peeling a few potatoes. I'm going to chop them up and get them in some boiling water to get those cooked through. We are making meatballs in the air fryer. So this was a super simple recipe. The hardest thing about it was chopping up all the potatoes, but as you can see, I tried to chop them fairly small so that they would cook faster, and by the time everything else was done, my potatoes were done as well. So here I've got some brown gravy. I'm just following the directions on the back of the package, just throwing it in a pan and letting it come up to a boil, and then removing it from the heat, and then your gravy's done. Simple as that. And then here I've got these frozen meatballs that I always get from Walmart. I just threw about half the bag in there, and I'm cooking these at 380 for about 10 minutes. And here's what everything looks like. We served this with broccoli and then a side of pastaroni. This was a hit for my family. So this next night we are actually making pizza egg rolls, but I'm getting started on the marinara sauce first. I like to buy just the regular Great Value marinara sauce, and then I season it the way that I want. So I'm just adding some onion powder, garlic powder, Italian seasoning, some salt, and some sugar. You just want the littlest bit of sugar, and you do want to taste it just to make sure that, you know, everything is tasting the way that you want it to. But I highly recommend adding just a pinch of sugar to your marinara sauce to cut that acidity, because it will make a world of a difference. And I'm just throwing this in a saucepan and just heating it up on the stove. Okay, so now we're gonna get started on the egg rolls. So I just have these egg roll wrappers that I got from grocery pickup. I'm not sure where they would be in Walmart. I'm guessing probably over by the deli, since it's kind of a fresher thing. But I just got a few out. I've got a bag of mozzarella here, and I did throw a little bit of Italian seasoning into the bag and just shook it up a little bit so that all the seasonings were dispersed. I'm just throwing a little bit of mozzarella cheese on there, some pepperoni, and some black olives. You can pretty well season or make these egg rolls any way that you want them to. Just use your favorite pizza toppings. Okay, so now that I have everything assembled together, I'm just going to spray the bottom of my air fryer. I know you're not supposed to do that, but the directions that I have said to do that. So that is what I'm doing. I'm layering about 6 or 8 in the bottom of the air fryer. And then I'm just going to spray the top again to make sure that they get crispy. And you're just going to cook these in the air fryer at 360 for about 6 minutes. And then you're going to want to flip them and then cook them for another 2 minutes. And here it is halfway. You can see they're starting to get done. This was super easy and my kids loved these. It's like a big old mozzarella stick with some extra toppings. So this was really, really good. I definitely recommend trying air fryer egg rolls. I think that everything turns out really well. Here's what they look like when they came out. And we just served this with a side of marinara pasta and some green beans. Okay, so this next night we are just making a simple beef and rice. So I've got the beef rice-a-roni. I'm just going to follow the directions on the back of the package and just basically toast up the rice and make sure that it gets golden brown. And then I am just making my burger here. I've got a pound. I'm seasoning with garlic powder, onion powder, salt, and pepper. Super simple. And then now that my rice is all toasted, I'm just going to add the appropriate amount of water and the seasonings. And then I'm actually going to throw my beef in there as well. And I really liked doing this because it got the beef super tender. So I definitely recommend trying that. But this was super simple and it was good as leftovers the next day. If you have a bigger family, you can get more boxes of rice and more beef, and you can do this with chicken as well. They have chicken flavors. They have broccoli chicken flavor, or broccoli cheddar, I think. You can put chicken in it. You can do tuna, whatever you want to do, but this is a super simple and easy dinner, especially if you were on a budget. Those little boxes of rice are $1, and then you can get ground beef for under $5 a pound. So super simple and cheap. So with this, I'm making some air fryer broccoli. You guys know that we love air fryer broccoli, and I'm trying to get this bag of frozen broccoli used up. We're finally starting to get a little burnout, so we are making broccoli with everything that we can. So I am just using some olive oil and salt, and I'm just going to cook these in the air fryer on about 310 for about 15 minutes, and it comes out perfect every time. So here's what it looks like when it all came together. This was delicious. And that is going to be it for this week's What's for Dinner. I hope that you guys enjoyed. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, please subscribe. Other than that, I'll see you in my next one. Bye, guys.